podcast. My name is Sean Snowday. I'm the co-founder and the voice of Coach Marketing Mastery. And we have India, who is not ready.
Good morning.
You're like a John Belushi of the live event world. Welcome.
Thank you.
So today, what are we going to be talking about?
How social media is not a marketing strategy.
Right. So it's so funny because we just got off a call with someone, and we were talking about social media, and they were really not into it.
Right. Well, and opposed to it.
So we're going to go why social media is no longer a marketing strategy. And we're going to talk about a few things today. So it's going to be the social media mania. Why is it so crazy? Like social media is just, it went from kind of the niceties to the means, and now it's just crazy. Like it's like people are following their own narrative and they're forming their own opinions, and they'll read a headline, they won't click through, but they'll just go nuts and start commenting on something they don't understand. And because of that, this is why your message is falling flat and on deaf ears. We're also going to talk. Go ahead.
How many people do you think you're competing with?
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to go over.
I know.
We're go ahead.
There's 5 billion people on social media. And the thing is, even if you're a divorce coach or a marketer, you're not competing with other marketers, other divorce coaches. You're competing with everyone. You're competing with shoe salesmen and makeup, and because everyone is on there with a message.
So there's 7 billion people on the planet. That means over half of them have a computer. But also, we're going to go over the do's and don'ts of the cross-platform content pollination. So we're going to go over the social media mania, why your message falls flat, the do's and don'ts. So when you have your message out on LinkedIn, and if it doesn't match up with Facebook and everywhere else, then it's the pollination. It's the wrong thing, the wrong message in the wrong place. And then what that does is it's why no one trusts you or your authority, because you have these mixed messages. These are challenges we have ourselves. And then also we're going to end with using social media to your benefit with branding and marketing. So the first thing is going to be the social media mania. So why is it so crazy? There's so many people. What is going on?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. It's free right now, but things are changing. You know, Instagram just announced that they have a program. It's a 3-tier. I think the first thing is you could get verified. It's like $14.99 a month. And then the next one, I want to say it's around $50 or $75 a month. And you, I don't even know what you get with that. But the top tier is $350 a month. And they guarantee they will push your content to the top. So you will be
$350, or is it $3.50?
It's $350.
Oh, okay.
Over $300 per month. And they guarantee that they will push your content out. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. A lot of the influencers are rebelling. They're like, do not pay this. We don't want this. We are angry. You know, that is pay to play. And, you know, I certainly wouldn't pay $350 a month for that because, again, our message is that social media is not a marketing strategy. You know, it is more for branding. So you would be, I feel like, wasting a lot of money, especially if you're a coach, right? Like if you're a divorce coach or if you're, you know, a life coach. I would never say spend $350 a month to have your content pushed to the top.
I'm kind of the devil's advocate on this. I kind of wish they would do it. I wish that they would charge $4 a month just to have a Facebook page, because they would get rid of a lot of the trolls.
Yeah.
It's free to be a troll.
Yeah, true.
And so that right there is all of the accounts out there where people are making multiple accounts and they're using VPNs and they're doing all this arguing against themselves. It would eliminate a lot of that. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And another thing that I would do is bring more value. So people are going to be like, look, I really paid to be on here, so I'm going to show up. I go to some of my friends' social media, and they post like once a month or every other month. I have friends that aren't on social media at all. I had one of my best friends from childhood, and it's sad because he was everyone's best friend in the whole neighborhood, and I was no one's best friend. That makes me a little sad. But anyhow, the thing is, he just commented on my LinkedIn, and I haven't heard from him in years.
Right.
But I hear from his little brother all the time in Facebook. Okay. Another thing is with what they're saying with having this tiered, $5, $50, $350 is so the reason the social media, the influencers are saying don't do it is because they're going to have to do it. It's going to change the game.
Right.
A lot of content creators, they're 25 years old. They have 4 million followers, and they're just burning out because they're just content all day.
And it eats up your time. That's the thing. You really have to manage your time because you could spend your whole day creating content, but is that going to convert into money? What I have found, and some people may disagree with me, is that people that I get off of Instagram rarely convert to, or any kind of social media. I've had a few convert to be clients, but it's more for branding. And so they get to know me. It's kind of like dating. Oh, look, India, does this. And so it's more for that than really converting to money. And then someone said, I think it was on one of our masterclass calls, she said, well, I've heard if you go in the groups and you comment, especially on she was a divorce coach. So you go into a divorce group and you comment after they share their pain. Well, that takes a lot of time and it's almost trolling. It's like, you have to be careful because some of those groups get really mad if they think you have an agenda, and you kind of have an agenda when you're doing that. Right. So I don't do that. I don't have the time to do that, first of all. So social media content creation takes a lot of time. So you have to manage that and not spend so much of your time doing that.
You're talking to people. I'm talking about the content creators that are making millions of dollars a year.
I'm talking about like the more, not the huge people, right?
Right. So I'm talking about the content creators that are making millions of dollars a year. Right. And the deal is that that they're saying don't pay the $350 because it's going to change everything. But you got the Mr. Beast. There's these guitarists that I watch, a lot of these people that play guitar, and they're making a lot of money. They're buying the big fancy cars. And I know that it's so weird that they get burnt out on that content. That's what I was talking about. And some of them have to go to therapy because they're just like, my whole life is developing content every single day. Yeah. And I didn't know it was going to be this way. Right. And they're young. Now, the other people, the smaller people, I think the benefit for some of the people that are just starting to move up, if they do pay the $350, it's going to boost them up to the next level. And they're really going to be able to leverage it. The smart ones will be able to. Yeah. And they'll be able to take it that way. I don't really know much about it. I'm just kind of like,
well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because I've definitely, I guess you could consider it going viral. I did a Chris Rock video where I basically just pointed and did very little in the video, but it got a lot of views, but it didn't convert to money.
Let me ask you, what is Chris Rock's audience?
Well, I mean, gosh, you got quite a wide range. I mean, I'm
people that like watching funny.
Yeah, so I'm an audience. I'm one of his people, right? Because I think it's hilarious. So, but it didn't convert. So yeah, you can go viral. It doesn't mean you're going to actually get money from going viral.
Right. And so it's kind of like a lot of the people are doing the B-roll. And it's so funny because I brought this up. And so the B-roll is you were A, Chris Rock was B, right?
Well, actually he was A, I was B because I was in the corner going like this.
Oh, okay. So the thing is, regardless of all of that when it comes to B-roll, B-roll goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and you can really go down the rabbit hole of what it really is. But the bottom line is that when you're a content creator, you're creating the content, right? Then we're talking about the social media mania and why it's so crazy, which kind of goes into why your message falls flat on its ass. And this kind of goes into what you're saying, but I'm saying more of a content creator. There are people, so I want to get back to that. There's this guy, he's a drummer. He's one of the best drummers in the world right now. There's another guy that's a drummer. He teaches how to play drums. So let's say the guy that's the best in the world has 2 million followers, but the other guy has 14 million followers. So he's stealing the other guy's content, and then all he's doing is sitting there and pointing.
That's what I did.
But I know. But it's going out to 15 million people that want to learn how to play the drums.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's stealing this other guy's content, but that content matches up with what he does. And he's making the guy might get more subscribers because of the guy just pointing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that gets down to, is this, say like the guy only has 1,000 followers and he's pointing to the guy with 4 million, then people might subscribe to him because he's stealing someone else's content, right? So that comes into the social media management, the mania, and also why your message falls flat on its ass. Like, I could take something very dramatic and do the A-B roll to where I'm just pointing, but again, is it going to be a hippie on a military base? Are the people that are watching this, do they care about me in the corner as a drum trainer, or do they care more about the guy playing the drums?
Right. Well, I mean, mine was related to divorce. So I am a certified divorce coach. So there was that. I did get a ton of new followers, but nothing converted.
Right. But and so that's kind of like, why does your message fall flat? Why are people's messages falling flat on their ass? That's what my question is to you.
Yeah. So well, you have to offer value. And I don't think my message of pointing to Chris Rock offered value. You know, it was a funny joke about divorce, but I just pointing didn't offer the viewer any value. So there was no reason for them to go click or DM me or anything. There was really no call to action. So that is probably where I fell flat, is I did not ask them to do anything. I just asked them to watch Chris Rock talk about divorce. And so that is my mistake. So have a call to action. And it doesn't have to mean go to my link or my link in bio. It could mean comment, it could mean follow, it could mean DM me, which Instagram loves because you stay on their platform.
Yeah. So with that, one of the things, let's see, so with the why your message is falling flat, some of the things that I found is, and this is, I'm in the rock and roll world, so I like rock and roll.
Right.
And someone will say, and I like heavy metal, right? And people will say the heavy metal, I like, let's say, grandpa heavy metal.
Who's your favorite band? You asked me that yesterday. I was like, deer in headlights. I don't know.
My favorite favorite band is prog rock. It's Genesis and Yes. Okay. But I don't listen to that anymore. Okay. I'm more listening to, I actually don't really listen to music that much, but I'm more into Southern rock now. So it's Molly Hatchet, Leonard Skinner. I'm going to go see 38 Special coming up. Okay. So I just like the older bands from the 80s, and I like the Southern rock.
I know all that. I like that too.
Yeah. So what will happen was, and I was saying this the other day, is you could say, I'm trying to think of someone popular, but it would be, let's say, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is really popular right now, right? But people, you might say, the singer from Aerosmith, his name's Steven Tyler. So it could be Steven, and this would make sense because he does this, but it could be, say, Steven Tyler is joining Taylor Swift. That's the headline, right? And then underneath it, it might be, and I was saying this yesterday, it might be he's just joining her at a food bank to hand out food to the homeless people. But all it says is Steven Tyler is joining Taylor Swift. Next thing you know, everyone's commenting underneath, I hate Taylor Swift, or I love Taylor Swift, or she ruined football, right? And then, or Steven Tyler's old, he needs to retire. And it just goes into all this anger, but you're really trying to get them to click out to your blog. Okay. So really is your headline, whatever you're saying in your headline, is people are just commenting. They're not clicking out anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It was so funny because we're listening to that podcast.
I'm going to grab the dog because he's snoring.
That's fine. We were listening to the podcast and they had a link and they're saying no one clicks through anymore, but they had a link on their YouTube channel to click out, you know?
That's right.
But that doesn't mean people don't click. People like me click.
Yeah.
There are those few. And all it takes is that one, and that one person to click out and that one person to buy. So what are some other reasons your message fails? Because you're the social media expert.
Well, I think it all comes there's another reason it might fail. You might be talking to the wrong audience. You know, if you're on LinkedIn, but you're doing a TikTok dance, LinkedIn viewers are going to be like, I don't think so. So you have to know who your audience is and crafting that message according to who the viewer is. So keep that in mind. And you may not even be a perfect fit for TikTok. You know, if you're if you are an executive coach for women who are business owners or entrepreneurs, I don't think TikTok will be your place. LinkedIn, definitely, maybe YouTube. Instagram, maybe. Instagram is more pretty, you know, it's all about pictures and it's the pretty, it's all about aesthetics.
Yeah. So it's when your girlfriend or wife goes to take a picture of her nice little dessert and then you smash smash it with your bare hands, right? Because you want more views.
Yeah.
I've never done that. And I've never been on a date where a girl takes a picture of her food, but I'm a little older, so we're not into that. But I guess it's the younger generations that's a thing, but it's good content too.
Well, right? I will say when I post things about him, it does better than when I'm just a talking head. Or if I post my husband, he's like my lucky charm. When I do a video with him, it gets far more reach and views than if I just do myself. So and you'll see that as you test it.
This is funny because I used to have a podcast called Sobriety Society, and I'd tell people, you know, show up. This is like being on the Oprah show, and they would show up holding a baby. If my baby starts crying, I got to get off the podcast. They'd show up with their dog. I'm like, dude, really? Like, would you go on Oprah or Anthony Robbins with your baby or your dog? No, you wouldn't, right? But for you, you're saying that you get more views in what you do, and it's not interruptive, right?
Right.
So people might go, oh, a puppy, right? But does it take away from what's being said? Do you think that happens?
Well, I mean, I think you do have to be consistent. And I would say if all my videos were about Charlie, that wouldn't make sense, right?
Right.
But you know, you're at least on Instagram, people want to see the human side of you. So it's not all business. So for, you know, here and there, pictures of Charlie or things about Charlie are okay. Now, I wouldn't do that on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I would not be posting about Charlie. So again, it's the message, crafting that message according to your audience.
So one of the things I did, and I was coached by this guy named Jay Abraham, and I can't remember the process that he called it, but I had a bunch of videos out there of me acting like a knucklehead, right? I was just being funny. I don't even know what I was doing, but you know, it had a lot to do with me playing music or nothing mean, nothing like what they do today that is mean, but just me being silly. And I felt like no one's going to take me seriously if they research me. So I had to delete a lot of those videos or at least restrict them. Now there's videos that go back, you know, 15, 18 years of me talking about digital marketing. But there's nothing really out there of me, that's going to take away the value of my core values, you know. So I think another reason people's message falls flat is because they stutter, utter, and mutter, and they really need to hire someone to do the speaking for them. My old business partner was not a front man, and I am. I'm always asked, Sean, go on stage for me. Sean, get out there. I didn't, what we're doing right now, I don't want to be doing this. I think India is more of the front man of Coach Marketing Mastery than I am, even though I'm supposed to be. She's more in the social media out there everywhere, with you there instantly. But I'm the one on the stage and going out there and doing the presentations and capturing the leads and you know, and doing all that stuff. So it's really a good fit. But the message can fall flat. Let's talk about a couple things we've done and then move on.
Okay.
Where the messages fallen flat. I think it would be with me is where I've offered something and it's not something that people really want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they want it. So the way I put that is, first of all, you got to fail forward, right? You got to fail at an epic level, see what works and what doesn't. But some of the things I've offered in just Coach Marketing Mastery was the full-on marketing, right? People didn't want that. They couldn't afford it, you know. So when I offered it in the beginning, people were like, no. You know, they're like, send me what were they saying? Send me a proposal.
Yeah.
Which is like what you don't want to hear.
Right.
It's
a stalling technique.
Yeah.
We just want to push you off.
And we just got that on the last call.
But I think
no,
really means yes.
He just wanted the information. I'm just going to put a 0 at the end of everything and go, look, we offered you something. Now it's, you know, 3 times the price. Because I don't want him to send it to other people, right? So it's just going to be the prices off the website, which I just doubled those. Okay, so then the do's and don'ts of cross-platform content pollination. Now, I don't even know what that means, but I wrote it and I liked it. But it's where your message doesn't match up throughout all of your social media. A lot of people will get into a coaching program. I'm in with Roland Frazier, and the first thing he had me do is put the word investor all over my social media. So it's all over the place. So we do invest in businesses. If someone wants to sell or any of that, we will definitely help that person. But the deal is once I changed all that, then it changed my whole message of what I do.
Yeah.
Now you have that same challenge right now as a divorce coach going into a marketing coach. So what are the do's and don'ts of that?
Well, you know, there are some growing pains. Even we experience it now. Is so most of my following is for divorce coaching, but now I'm transitioning. I'm still a divorce coach, but I'm transitioning. So it's like, okay, I set up a whole new Instagram account for Coach Marketing Mastery, and we have 0. You know, it's starting from scratch. So I do a little bit on my India Kern coaching, which is more divorce coaching, but I have announced on there. So one of the do's I thought that was worked, and I got a lot of response from it, was telling my people, hey, I'm still a divorce coach, but I'm also a marketing strategist for coaches. So check it out. We have a free masterclass. And so I made an announcement because people were curious, like, what is she doing? She's the marketing coach now. So I made that, I just called it out. And so then I got a lot of response, like, tell me more about it. So it's interesting how that's working, but I think that definitely is something that we are going through ourselves right now. And that's building a different brand, even under India Kern Coaching for me and for you, like you said, investor now, marketing coach. So I mean, it's a process. It's the do's and the don'ts. I guess the don'ts would be I don't know. I mean, I right now it would be really trying to move over to a new platform and keeping the messaging consistent in my in one Instagram versus the Coach Marketing Mastery. So yeah, and not blurring too much of the two. But what do you
Well,
think?
I'm going to tell you the don'ts. The don'ts are, and with when it comes to social media, you got to have one message out there everywhere.
Yeah,
Now, you can have multiple Facebook accounts, Facebook groups, right? You got to
yeah,
have multiple Instagrams, but it's so hard to keep track and keep the links right. So when I say click this link to go to my Facebook, right? I don't want to, I have a Facebook page called Sobriety Society, which I used to have that podcast. But if I have that on Coach Marketing Mastery and go to my Facebook page and it goes there, that's the cross pollination that
hmm
I'm talking about.
hmm
Okay, the cross platform content pollination.
yeah,
That's why I call it that, because it's you're seeding the wrong thing. Right now, if you go to my LinkedIn account, the website is Business Buyers Academy.
hmm
Okay, we were running Business Buyers Academy before we were doing this. We were helping people. We were teaching people how to buy businesses and sell them, and how to group and scale. And then we had our private clients and everything. And what was happening there on my LinkedIn is I also have some certification stuff, and then you're also going to have your bio, who you are, what you do, and if it doesn't match up with and is consistent with your
hmm
other social media,
right,
people are going to get confused.
right,
And you're putting a hippie on a military base, even though you don't mean to, right?
yeah,
So if I make an ad, let's say it's not really an ad, it's just a post, and you click on it and you go, oh, I really am interested in Coach Marketing Mastery. And then you Google my name and it comes up with all this investor stuff.
right,
That works for me because people are like, wait a minute, this guy not only does the marketing, but he's also an investor. But then who do I have show up? A guy shows up, a very successful guy,
hmm
going, he wants me to invest in his company. I'm
right,
like, dude, you got a
yeah,
great company in Minnesota,
hmm
making a lot of money. Just do the same thing in here, California.
yeah.
Well, I need some money. I'm like, you don't need any money.
Well, I will say this, and we see it all the time, is we'll see someone that is a executive coach or a financial coach. Then you go look at their social media and it says like shoemaker. And you're like, wait a second, what? So yeah, that's important. And even with us doing this now, and like you said, I'm a certified divorce coach. The first thing I did is start changing my profile description. That's the first thing I did. Even on Instagram, it's India L. Kern, but I have divorce coach and marketing strategist. So because I do have coaches that follow me, right? So I've started changing all my profiles. I changed LinkedIn as well. So yeah, it's important to be consistent across the platforms and say what you do, not some random thing. Make sure you are following up on all your profiles.
Right. And so that brings us into why no one trusts you. No one trusts your authority. You say you're this person, but everything else says you're this person.
Mm-hmm.
So are you really the authority? And it's so funny. I think that guy kind of laughed today, the last call we were on, because I said something and I said, I even have challenges with it. Well, I do. Most people that are coaches, they coach on something that they have challenges on.
Mm-hmm.
I have challenges in marketing. Why? Because it changes all of the time. Now, there's really nothing new under the sun, but the tech changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a new thing.
Right.
This chat GBT thing comes out. Then everyone thinks, oh, I'm a copywriter now, right?
Right.
And so you always got to be on the bleeding edge. But
Mm-hmm.
what are some other things how people ruin their authority and lose trust through either cross pollination or just putting the wrong message out there?
Yeah. Well, I was watching, I was on Facebook this weekend and I saw someone that I know as a coach, and he was being very controversial. And I thought to myself, I know this is a personal platform, but I would never say all that stuff because it will influence my reputation as a coach.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I was like, oh, I think there's too much personal information shared right now. Because he even dragged his ex-wife under the bus as he was making a point. It was all, anyway, I won't go into it because I don't want to be I don't want anyone to hear this that shouldn't. But the point being is just, when you are on social media, make sure you're being professional, even on your personal page, because that will influence what people think of you. Because if they look you up, and they will, and they see all this discourse, it's very, it was controversial, and I'm sure a lot of people had an aversion to it. That will sway your potential client. So be careful what you're saying.
Yeah, I have a great example of that. And I had a coach at the time, and he said, I think you like the drama, but do you know who Greta Thunberg is, or whatever her name is? Yeah. So I took a picture of her. Now, I had no idea. I'm not political in that area. I don't care. I don't have a narrative. But David Bowie has a lyric. He has a song called Changes from like 1972 or something.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in that song, he says, and these children that you spit on as they try to change their world are quite, oh my gosh, now I got to look it up. So it's Changes lyrics, David Bowie, right? Right. And then he says, so I'm going to ask to search children. Look at, I'm wasting all the time on podcasts. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through, right? So Greta Thunberg, I was like, everyone's spitting on her, but she's quite aware of what she's going through. She might be 16 or however old she was back then. And then people are like, she has handlers and blah, blah, blah. And so I put a picture of her, and what I was saying is, she's quite aware of what she's going through, and you're spitting on her, like, quit. And then, so all of my friends, right? If you know anything about me, all of my friends are going to be conspiracy theorists, full on to the right? They're so right. They're like upside down. They're lying on their right. And they're Trumpsters, right? Now, that doesn't mean that's not a reflection on me. That's just my friends happen to be like that. And then my family's all liberals and they're full left, right? Kind of woke. I'm in the middle, but people push me over to the left or the right. Mm-hmm. But my point is, when I posted that, it turned into such a shit show on my, and so I don't know this, but I'm asking people, why are you so angry with her? Right. Like, what is going? And I'm interacting, but I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to go, whoa, where did this all come from? It turned into like 1,500 comments, and I lost. And then I start seeing in my feed, oh, my cousin unfriended me. This guy from all these people.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So my point is, why no one trusts your authority, right? And so you got to be really careful about what you put out there, because there might be someone that wants to buy from you. By the way, I had to delete that post.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that when someone comments, all their friends start coming over.
Yeah.
And not only that, people got banned from Facebook because of that post. They
really?
started like threatening each other on there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I don't do politics. I mean, my parents taught me well. That's what I find so strange when people talk about politics, assuming that you believe what they believe. That is so weird to me. It's like, you don't talk about sex, you don't talk about religion, and you don't talk about politics. I don't know why the other people of this world have not been taught well about by their parents. That's something my parents drilled into me, and you will not hear me talk about it.
Yeah. I think some people are just trying to figure out, should I continue to be a part? But that really, I didn't lose my authority, but I lost trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. With some people.
Yeah.
Whoever.
And people that aren't going to pay me money, but it's like, hey, that's my cousin, that's my uncle. Mm-hmm. That's the guy that I really don't care about, but he kind of was cool. All right. So then the last one is using social media to your benefit with branding and marketing. So this is really what's going on. So how can you benefit through most social media in this date and time?
Well, it's like a free billboard. So it's still free, even though Instagram is raising their prices for, pay to play. But like, LinkedIn, for instance, this podcast, we are going live and it's great advertisement and it's free. And maybe that headline, social media is not a marketing strategy, will attract people and they'll tune in and then they'll be curious and then they'll maybe book a call with us. And then they could possibly convert to a client. So I think social media is great for free advertising, for getting your word out, and for showing people who you are so they can go investigate, see if they can binge out on your videos if you want. And then if they like you, they might book a call. So it's still a wonderful tool to let people know who you are and what you stand for. I would not base all my marketing, I would not base like all my leads and everything on social media. There's a better way. And it's just one of the tools that will help you brand yourself and be an authority in your industry.
Right. So then the other thing is that what was I going to say with the branding and marketing? What are other things that you can do with the content from this video?
So like, for instance, I'll take this video, I will download it, and I will blast it out to different platforms. And so it's
No, you won't. This is already going to all those platforms.
No, I do. What I do is I take a snippet because most
Okay,
people
well, you didn't
watch
say
the whole
that. You
podcast.
didn't say that.
Okay. So I take a snippet. I take the highlight of like the best of the podcast because people usually start glazing over after like 10, I mean, gosh, like 7 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
The most they'll listen to is like 10 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I have software that highlights the best topics, the most, the best headlines. And I will download that. I'll put it on Instagram, but we have software that will blast it out to all the platforms. So I'll take a snippet and recreate and turn that content, repurpose it. So we're not having to constantly create new content. We're actually using what we're doing right now. And that's what I do a lot with my content. I take old content that got high engagement and I'll even rework it a little bit, maybe change the headline, maybe change the editing, and then send it out again.
Yeah. One of the things I do is, so I have social media cross-pollination, and I can't remember why I wrote that down. Oh yeah, I do. But what I do is I'm in these Marco Polo groups, and I have what's called another little tip from your Uncle Sean. So I'll say, hey, remember, if you do this, then don't do this, or hey, this is why you do this, or this is what you mean. This means another little tip from your Uncle Sean. So I'm going to say, hey, your social media, I'll just do a quick thing. Hey, pro tip. If your LinkedIn doesn't match your Facebook, doesn't match your Twitter, and they're all at the bottom of your homepage of your website, and people click on it and they're seeing something different, then that's called cross-pollination. You don't want to do it. So make sure you check all your social media and make sure everything lines up and your message is the same everywhere you go. Just another little tip from your Uncle Sean, right? That's how I use what we're doing right now and get that out there. And then when I show up to these events, people are like, Sean, and then I'm like the authority, a celebrity, because I make all these stupid videos.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and they're not stupid, but I don't know. And then another way to use the social media to your benefit is, the big one is, rather than telling people to comment below or to subscribe, what's something that you think they should say in posts?
Well,
with 2 letters.
DM me, direct message me, and these platforms love it because you have the viewer stay on the platform. They don't want you to go to link in my bio because it takes them away from the platform.
Right.
So that if you do DM me to get the free guide, Instagram likes it better, and you will get most likely pushed more at the top because they, again, want the viewer to stay on the platform.
Yeah. And then with the DM, you're going to be able to see that and interact with people on an individual basis. There's actually some real ninja stuff we do in Infusionsoft and Keap with that message. There's a way to take that link for that message and put it directly into your CRM. So if you're calling someone on the phone, send them an email, send them a text from your CRM, you can have also a link to the direct message for that individual. So when you're in your CRM and you could say, I sent you a text, I sent you a message, I sent you an email, click on the link, and then you could go in the DM and post the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
And now you're reaching it. So a lot of people don't know that. So that's just another little tip from your Uncle Sean. So it's stuff like that.
Oh yeah. There's so much out there.
So we're going to be going over this. So how do people find us?
So they go to Coach Marketing Masterclass. If you're interested in what you've heard today, the best thing you can do is join us on Friday. It's a free masterclass. We go over this in detail and you can bring your questions. So if this is something that you want to dive deeper in, come to the masterclass on Friday. It's 10 o'clock Pacific time. And so we do it every Friday. So coachmarketingmasterclass.com.
So go to coachmarketingmasterclass.com right now. If you're not driving, coachmarketingmasterclass.com, sign up. It will send you the link for the Zoom. We're not going to pester you. You're going to get a link for 2 weeks, and then you're going to get 6 emails. Hey, we have a class coming up. It's coming up in 2 days. It's coming up in an hour, 2 weeks in a row, and then you don't hear from us ever again. Then you got to put us on your calendar if you like what we have to say and if you want to hear more. So it's coachmarketingmasterclass.com. Thank you so much, India, for piling on the cool and teaching everybody how social media works. And we will see you this Friday.
Yes. Bye.